a playlist original.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Back to the Blockbuster with your hosts, Gaius and Jackson, recording on Sunday, which is very different for us because our boy Jackson has some plans and some things that he has to do. So we're recording this early so we can get this episode out on time right before the Academy Awards will air a week from today. So we need to get our Oscar predictions out there. And Jackson joined the show like in the middle of award season, pretty much. So like he got like a crash course and what award season is like. And we're approaching the big one, and we're excited to share our predictions with you guys. So thank you for accommodating me on Sunday, and I'm happy we get to do this. And let's see how many we get right.
A crash course is a great way to put it, and excitement is an understatement. This is one of my favorite days of the year, or I guess times of the year rather, is leading up to the Oscars. The Academy Award has always been something I've been very, very fond of, even since before I was as much of a cinephile as I'd say I am now. And yeah, thank you for accommodating me. I'll be in the country. I'll be in the States for a few days, heading down to New Jersey, catch an NHL game. So I'm excited to be back. I haven't been to the States. Like I said last episode, Maine is right by New Brunswick. So I've been there a couple times, like over and since the pandemic, but I haven't actually like been like deep in the States in a few years now. So I'm excited to be back. It's always a great time and a little bit of a culture shock. It's just so different. So I'm really excited. I haven't been in New Jersey, so I can't wait to see what that's all about. But yes.
I've only gone once. I've been in New Jersey once, and it was because
it
wasn't even really to like hang out. Like I flew into there going to New York, and then my flight got canceled, so I actually had to stay for like they at a hotel and just stayed for like I didn't even get to explore because it was so late when I got there. And,
right.
Like, so I've only been in it. Haven't explored it.
The same thing happened to me in Chicago, actually. The exact same experience. So I was in Chicago for a day, but didn't get to really explore much. So but that was cool.
So yeah, my only exposure to is like through TV, like the Jersey Shore, and I don't even know if that's like
yes,
I don't know if that's incredibly accurate.
Jersey Shore.
Oh yeah, dude,
I'm hoping I get to see maybe some of the locations where it was filmed. I would love that because I watched it during the pandemic again and loved it.
Yeah, I have a soft spot for trash TV, so like that is
like
definitely up there. I didn't think I would even enjoy watching like the whole like family vacation thing that they do. Like now they're older, like they have that show on now, and I thought I wouldn't like it as much.
I haven't seen that.
They're like married, some of them have kids. Like, is it going to be fun? And like, they are actually still fun to watch. They're not as like crazy as
I'm not surprised to hear that.
Yeah, they're not as crazy as they were when they were in their 20s, but it's still like I think they're just like funny personalities in general. So like it's still fun to catch up with the hot mess.
No doubt, there's some entertaining. There's some entertaining individuals. They're the Hot Mess Express, the OGs for sure.
Yeah. But yeah. Today's show, it's like we have no news to give you today. This is all going to be all about the Oscar predictions. Award season got pretty crazy. I think the last 2 weeks, like with the PGA awards and then the SAG awards, kind of like threw a wrench into like some people's predictions.
The BAFTA started that for me.
Oh yeah, the
definitely
BAFTA
threw
did
some
too.
curveballs at me. Yeah.
I have definitely like wrote down names, crossed stuff out, wrote down again, crossed it out. But this is gonna be like I'm gonna say it here. This will be my final like tally of like who I think is gonna win.
Yeah,
we're gonna each keep track of it. Like Jackson will keep track on his end. I'll keep track on mine, and then the next show after the Academy Awards, we'll see how accurate we were.
Yeah,
I'm still on the fence, even with like final ones. I'm like, well, we'll just see. I'll just throw a dart and see what happens.
Yeah, honestly, for some of these categories, that is not a bad approach at all. There's also multiple categories where I'm not going to be upset over probably a couple outcomes. There's some I'm just tied on, but it'll be cool. I was thinking that we could go category by category, and you can mention what you want to win and what you expect will win. And sometimes those might line up the same as some do in mine, but that way we can track how accurate we are.
Yeah, I like that. Actually, I wanted to ask you like how you want to do it. You want to go through all of them, or do you just want to do the major ones? Like, I'm fine with like whatever you want to do. Like, I mean, I think some of the technical ones I'll just be like just wild guesses, but like,
yeah, I'm down.
That'd be fun too.
There's some there's some I don't have much of a dog in the fight, like short film and
Oh
animated
yeah,
film. I haven't seen many of those.
I never
I
have a
have
dog in
no
that fight, and I feel
care.
so bad because I know people put their heart and souls into like their shorts,
I know,
and like that's the one category.
absolutely.
Every time we have like an Oscar pool, those categories like best animated short or like all those, that is where like my Oscar pool gets like fucked up. So like I don't know what to pick. I didn't get to see them. Like
Exactly.
we used to have a theater that would like show them, like show all the shorts around this time, but they stopped doing that, and like that was like the only way I could really
That
try
sucks.
try to see them. So I feel bad because I know a lot of people. I mean, when they win those awards on the night, they're like so fucking proud and like they should be because it's a lot of work. But like I
As they
feel bad because
should be. I know.
I've never seen any of them, and I usually am just like,
And their work is underrated.
yeah, that's when I like go on the Hollywood Reporter or Variety. I'm like, what do you guys think is gonna win in that category? And then I just take their answer. Like so,
That's
so
nice you have
I'll
some insight there though, because yeah.
yeah, so I'll be on the same page as you when it comes to that.
Okay, for sure. We can
Yeah,
just like kind of go over. We can name. I got a little list, Rotten Tomatoes Oscar ballot in front of me that you
okay,
probably sent me. If anything, we kind of go through the categories and say if
yeah,
we want to bother with this one, and we could
yeah, for
probably
sure.
hit most of them. I'm
We'll,
thinking.
we'll get
And
most of them.
so I guess we'll skip over watches for the sake of getting through the our Oscar stuff. But I want a whole conversation I want to have when time allows for I got a few of the big Oscar nom watches in this week that I had to catch
Yeah,
up on, and those were Elvis, Women Talking, and I'm literally 20 minutes off of Blonde. And
yeah,
man, I definitely want to chat those with you sometime. So
yeah,
bookmarking
for
that
sure.
now.
Yeah, for sure. And I ended up watching Women Talking when I told you I was going to watch it. I watched it before I
Okay, right on.
headed off to work. I will just say we can talk about it more later, but I did really enjoy it.
Yeah,
Really, and I'm really
me
glad that
too.
Sarah Polley got that screenplay nomination because it's a really really good script and like really, I mean, it sucks that it's a smaller movie and maybe didn't get it like. I mean, it got a Best Picture nomination, of course, but like it
Yeah,
was like
that's big for it.
yeah, it was kind of like all over the place during award season where like a lot of people were saying like it's not getting as much recognition as it probably should. But
Right.
it ended up in the big one in the end. So that's
And I think it
definitely
deserved that spot. I really liked it.
yeah, I did as well. So yeah, I'll let you lead the way and we can start with whatever category
Okay.
you want to start with and then we'll talk about
I'm
who we
I'm
want to win and
debating
who should
leaving
win.
Best Picture for first or last. What do you think? That's the only one I'm
Oh,
not sure on the order
I
to
was
go in.
debating that too. All right, you know what? It's the big one. We can save it for last. I mean, that would be like the we can
Okay, just like the
yeah.
ceremony.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so starting off then, according to my list here, I have directing in front of me.
All right, cool.
Um, so just to recap the nominees, we got Martin McDonagh for Banshees of Inisherin, the Quans for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Steven Spielberg for The Twins, Todd Field for Tar, and Ruben Ostlund for Triangle of Sadness. I've seen them all, and my prediction is the Daniels. I think I want either Martin McDonagh or the Daniels to win. Those are the two picks. I wouldn't care either way, but I think that my predictions with the Daniels.
All right.
What about you?
So my want and should are the same, and I'm gonna go with the Daniels as well for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Nice.
I was, before a while, I was like all about Spielberg doing it because I thought that like it'd be like a sentimental favorite, like because especially because it's like about his
Right.
life and it's about filmmaking and like the Academy loves movies about movies. But
Mm,
him losing that DGA award to the Daniels, that kind of like pushed me over the edge, and then when the
yeah,
movie
change that.
won. When
Yeah.
the movie won the PGA as well, the Producers Guild Award, that kind of put it over the edge for me too. And I think it'll be freaking awesome to watch like such an offbeat movie like this win in the directing category. So yeah,
Absolutely.
I've kind of discussed my love for this movie a lot as we kind of geared up for this, and I'm sticking with them as my should and will win for best
Okay.
director. Uh,
A great
let's hope.
choice. And I'm
Yeah,
very confident that we will be seeing that
yeah.
a week from today. Next, we got actress in a lead role, and I'll let you, we can just flip flop between like leapfrog if you want to go first and then transition category by category if you're cool with that.
Yeah, that's cool. That let me okay. So best actress in the leading
Yeah.
role. There's that little sneaker in there, Andrea Riseborough for To Leslie. There's the supporting for performance that somehow was a lead performance from Michelle Williams in The Fablemans. Kate Blanchett, absolute beast in Tar. Anna de Armas, very good in a very controversial movie, Blonde. and then Michelle
Man, I'm
Yeoh.
still reeling.
Yeah, Michelle Yeoh and Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. This is a tough one for
This is a
me
very hard category.
because honestly, like it's down to two women for me, and I would be happy with either one of them winning. Um,
Right.
God, this is hard because like I'm trying to think of like everything that's kind of happened leading up to this, right? So if we go back, the Golden Globes is kind of hard to count because they split up the categories from like comedy, musical,
Right.
and then drama. But Michelle Yeoh won that night for Best Actress in a Musical or Comedy for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Kate Blanchett also won that night for Best Actress in a Drama for Tar. Kate Blanchett won the BAFTA. Uh, I think she won a Critics' Choice Award too for Best Actress. They flip flopped a lot, and of course Michelle Yeoh
They
won the
did.
SAG Award. Michelle won the SAG Award, and they kind of overlap. A lot of those members that are in SAG are also members of the Academy. Um, fuck. I don't want to take. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing I did with the directing category.
Sure.
Who should win? And this is not. I mean, it sucks to say. Like, I know we're not awarding like her body of work, but like Michelle
Right.
Yeoh has been in this business for a very long time and
That's right.
has put in a ton of work and so many great movies. And like to just see her talk recently about like how she really felt like, I guess at the age that she's at now, that she's finally being noticed, even though she's been in like so many like acclaimed, like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Like she's been in like a lot of
Right.
movies where like, but I feel like I agree with her with like a lot of people. They've been like, oh, I recognize her from something. Can't put my finger on it, even though she's been in like a lot of stuff and has
Absolutely.
more than proved her worth. I actually watched this movie again last week because I wanted to get it fresh in my brain
Nice.
again, and she does a lot in this movie. Like it's a lot of like
It's a big lift.
dramatic acrobatics, if you will, where she's like kind of all over the place. And I
Very
know
physical, just like
yeah, very physical. And I know Kate Blanchett is a beast in Tar. I just want to say that it's a really phenomenal performance. Um, but I'm going with my should and will with Michelle Yeoh. I'm going to back her completely
Okay.
for Everything,
I don't
Everywhere, All at
I
Once.
don't blame you one bit.
But I will say this: if Kate Blanchett does win, I won't be upset. If she does,
Right.
I'll be happy with it. All right.
Absolutely.
What
As
about
would
you?
I. So the only performance I haven't seen from this category is Andrea Riseborough's for To Leslie.
Same. I should point that out too.
That
Yeah, I
being,
have not seen it as well.
is that
It's
right?
hard to
So you've seen
find,
the other
man.
four. Yeah,
really hard to find.
definitely. That being said, nomination was a win in itself. I'm not expecting her to win.
Yeah.
And I'm very torn in this category. Like I said, I literally just got done Blonde. And that really threw a wrench into things for me.
Yeah.
I think I didn't even know before this conversation. I still don't know if I think Michelle or Kate will. I don't think because of Blonde's reception that Anna will win.
Yeah.
I think that's just another case where her nomination is a win itself,
It's a
although
win,
I think
yeah.
her performance is very deserving.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go with you and say I think Michelle Yeoh will win.
Mhm.
And I honestly feel like a three-way split on Anna, Kate Blanchett, and Michelle on who I want. I don't know who I want more. I think the best performance of those three for me was Kate Blanchett.
Yeah.
But again, if either Anna, Kate, or Michelle Yeoh are called, I would not feel upset either way. But I think Michelle will win it. That was a very tough category, and I kind of feel like I'm comping out by not picking one of them. But
no,
yeah,
it's a tough one.
That was props
yeah,
to all those women.
Yeah, and I also want to point out too, I know we're not really
yeah.
talking Blonde, but there are a lot of people who've questioned whether or not Anna de Armas deserves to be there because like they don't like the movie for whatever reason. I know the movie was like very controversial. Even if you were to look at it, like I didn't think the movie was great, but like even looking back on it, if you're just judging it on her, she gave a really committed, very great performance, and I will say for me that she deserves to be there.
I absolutely think she deserves to be there.
I'm sure she kind of hears those murmurs out there, like being like, oh, like because a lot of people didn't like the movie, but you know, the movie didn't get nominated for Best Picture. This is the Best Actress category, and then that's right. That's what we're counting. So I do think that she deserves to be there. And like I said, like you said, I think in her case, and the same thing with Andrea Riseborough, I think the nomination is a win. And
Exactly. Good for
what it
both
will
of them.
lead to down the road. I mean, for them, as far as like the roles they'll probably end up getting, or like so
Exactly.
yeah. But yeah, Michelle Yeoh, I'm gonna. It'll be. Oh, she's
I
probably
put
gonna give
money on
such a.
it.
She's probably gonna give a great
Yeah.
fucking speech when she wins. So that'll be that. Probably be very emotional. It'll be a lot of those things. But yeah, I'm rooting for her. I think.
I'm rooting for it too, man.
And I hate to say this too, because Kate Blanchett's won twice. And not saying
That's
that you
right.
shouldn't
And
win it,
she's got
that
that
you should
love.
win. Yeah, I'm not saying that you shouldn't win again just because you won already. But I mean, it'd be nice to see like a first timer get it.
And
And
that's a factor
like,
in my decision very much.
yeah. But yeah, a tough one. I agree with you. This category is very tough. That's why I said if Kate Blanchett does take it, I'll be like, all right, you also deserve it. So,
Exactly.
all right.
Couldn't have said it better.
What category do we have next?
So moving next to actor in a leading role. This is another one where I've seen 4 of the 5 performances. The outlier here being Bill Nye in Living. I've not seen this performance. So besides from Bill Nye, we have Paul Mescal in After Sun, which I'm also fresh off a watch of and very much enjoyed. We've got Brendan Fraser in The Whale, Colin Farrell in The Banshees of Inisherin, and finally Austin Butler in Elvis, which I just saw last night as of this recording. Saturday, that's how I spent my Saturday. I watched Elvis, and he was truly phenomenal. A great performance by a young up and coming actor, and will no doubt, again, like you just said with Andrea Riseborough and Anna Darmus, that nomination of his will definitely do well for his career. And again, now having seen it, very deserving. But this is a category where my want and think will win is the same. And after all this time, it is still Brendan Fraser for The Whale.
Got it. This one's hard for me too, because this is another
category too
that has like gone all over the place during award season. I think. Austin Butler won the Golden Globe over Brendan Fraser.
Right.
Brendan Fraser won the Critics' Choice Award over Austin Butler. Austin Butler, I think, did he get the BAFTA award for this too? I believe.
Yes, he did win the BAFTA.
So he won the BAFTA. Then Brendan Fraser won the SAG. So it's like it's gone all over the place. Speaking of what's funny is that I just got Living today. Like it just got sent to me today. So I'll get to watch it. I didn't get to watch it before we did this, but right. Not to say, I mean, I've heard great things about his performance in it, but I think he's kind of like the outlier in this category.
Right.
A surprise would be Paul Mescal for After Sun, who is also great in that movie. But like,
I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't
be mad either. But I think this is another case of Andrea Riseborough and Anna Darmus, where the nomination is the win.
Yeah.
This is hard. Because we've talked about this before. Like Brendan Fraser's the comeback story, Austin Butler is the transformative, like up and comer.
That's right.
Giving the performance of a lifetime story, and
the Academy likes both of those.
The Academy likes both stories. Yeah. I'm shit. All right.
Should mention too, just want to get this in there too, that the Golden Globes was almost a write-off for Brendan Fraser because of the whole history there. And if you don't know that,
exactly,
into. So hard to really use that win for Austin to influence your like you think the Academy will go with for Brendan. That's why I think it's stronger for Brendan.
Because like even if he would have won that, he probably wouldn't have even accepted it.
That's right, like, exactly.
For those interested enough, all you gotta do is a quick Google search, and you'll see why he is not too fond of the Hollywood Foreign Press and the Golden Globe Awards.
There's a complex history there.
Yeah. You know what? Fuck. All right. Who should win? I'm gonna say Brendan Fraser. And I'm probably gonna regret this. Who will win? Austin Butler. And if I'm wrong,
is that right?
Whatever. I'll that's a hard one too. I might change my mind later, but no, I'm gonna stick to it. I'll write it down. I will stick to what I chose here. Who should win? Brendan Fraser.
I can see it. I can see
Butler.
Austin winning it too. I can almost see it being split both ways. I don't know what to think. I think whose name's gonna be read. I won't be mad for either, but like I do want Brendan to win it. Like I just was so touched by his performance, and again, I love that comeback story for him, and I think Austin has more of a chance in his career now to to garner more awards now that Brendan's on like the later-ish side of his career.
Yeah,
This would
yeah.
be a good comeback and a good moment for him that's long deserved, I think.
And by the
Yeah.
way, for those listening, I think Colin Farrell is like a distant third amongst these five. Um, I don't think he's gonna win, but like his
No,
name has kind of been in the conversation a lot too, as like potentially if being in the third, like kind of running in this category, because he actually has gotten some of the best reviews of his career for this movie. Um, but it's just a case of like a lot of competition and like really like
that's right.
two very strong performances. And then of course we missed Paul Mescal, who a lot of people were rooting for him all award season to get this nomination, and he got it. So like I think again that's the win for him here. But yeah, I mean we'll see. Throwing all my weight behind Austin Butler, but I think Brendan Fraser should get it. But I think
Right.
Austin Butler is going to win it. Could be the first one.
Not a bad
wrong.
guess.
I will be upset though. Either way, it'll be.
No,
they're both very deserving.
Happy for him for that nom. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Which category do you want to hit next?
On my list, next in order would be actress in supporting role.
All right. Okay. This one got tough too. Stupid SAG Awards. All right. Best supporting actress. We have Angela Bassett for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Carrie Condon for The Banshees of Inisherin, Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Stephanie Hsu for Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Hung Chau for The Whale. This category was easy for me until the SAG Awards.
No, yeah.
Yeah, okay, because like Angela Bassett had been like winning a lot leading up to this, like Golden Globe Award, Critics' Choice Award. She didn't win the BAFTA, that went to Carrie Condon, but the BAFTAs like they take care of their own over there.
That's right,
like,
exactly.
So that movie was gonna sweep hard at the BAFTAs,
big time. Except for Austin, which blows my mind.
For Austin, yeah, that was crazy. I mean,
that's a curveball.
Yeah, that blew my mind that he won. I mean, cool that he did, but like, that's how strong that performance is. I guess like even they had to like acknowledge it. But then Jamie Lee Curtis like threw a fucking wrench in it, and she won the SAG Award. And a lot of those members they do overlap with the Academy. I've said this before. I love Jamie Lee Curtis. Like you and I are both like Halloween fans. Like she's like original Final Girl. Like she's had like a very incredible career. She comes from like Hollywood royalty. Her mom's Janet Leigh from Psycho, in case you guys don't know who she is. Tony Curtis is another like legendary actor. She comes like it's in her blood, basically. This is someone who has always talked about how she's never had any formal training as an actress. She never went to school for it. A lot of these women went to like different like theater art schools. Like she is just naturally very good at what she does.
Gifted.
And I will never take that away from her. And I did like her in Everything Everywhere All at Once, but
absolutely.
For the life of me, don't understand why it's like Oscar worthy. This is like to me, this is like
nor do I.
This is like a career when it comes. It's like a career nomination. Like I feel like it's like, hey, like you've put in so much fucking work over the years. Like let's honor you with that. And I kind of felt like her SAG win was also her peers being like, you've been in this industry for so long. Here you go. You deserve it.
Right.
And I just think I brought it up on the last episode. I think because like Oscar voting started I think the other day, and I talked about it. Like if people were worried about like, oh, I think Angela Bassett's safe, we don't have to worry about her. I think some of those votes are now going like, oh yeah, we definitely need to vote for her because like she lost that award.
Right.
I've talked about like Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I think it's a really good movie. And I think a lot of people go back and forth. Like, is it fair to nominate someone based on one scene in particular? This has happened a lot with different actresses where like that's their Oscar. That's their Oscar winning moment.
All the time.
And I mean, even if you have to go, even if you don't want to watch the whole movie, if you just want to like go on Disney Plus and skip to that moment, like I mean, they used it in the trailer. I mean, I remember when I first heard that moment.
To do that.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I first heard that moment in the trailer, and I was like, oh well, she's acting like this is more than like a comic book movie for her. And when I saw that moment on opening night, it's chills. Like it's so good. And there is a debate about like, what about the whole performance? She's good. I mean, she commands the screen. Like Angela Bassett has always done that. A lot of people have been like, well, Jamie Lee Curtis is a legend. I actually found out, I got it wrong in the last episode. Angela Bassett and Jamie Lee Curtis are pretty much the same age, so they're both
Okay.
legends in this industry. Like it's like
Right.
we I can't base it on that, and I hate counting out. There are a lot of people. I mean, I know no, you love the movie, you love Banshees. There are a lot of people who are saying like don't count out Carrie Condon. That
I'll be
there
saying
could be
that in a moment.
it could be a split vote situation with like Jamie Lee Curtis and Angela Bassett. Like we're like, all right, don't know which one, and then she could sneak in
Right.
there. And what's crazy is that Stephanie Shu is like the supporting nomination from Everything Everywhere All at Once that everyone has been rallying behind more than Jamie Lee Curtis. They're like she should be getting more of the attention than her, and I agree with
I
that. I think
agree.
that her performance is
Yeah.
like, I mean, they're different. They're different performances, right? Different roles,
Different. But she's a
but like I,
newcomer too,
yeah,
and has a lot more to do in that movie.
and I think a lot of people were okay with Jamie Lee Curtis' nomination here because Stephanie also got one. If Stephanie didn't get a
Right.
nomination, I think there'd be more of like an uproar about like, oh, why did Jamie Lee Curtis get it over her?
Yes.
Um,
You're certainly right.
so here's the deal: I am not gonna, even though Jamie Lee Curtis won the SAG award, my should and will is gonna be the same, and I'm throwing all my weight behind Angela Bassett for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Dude, I know you love like musical like biopics.
Yep.
If you haven't seen it, if you ever get a chance to watch What's Love Got to Do with It, came out in 1993. She played Tina Turner in the movie.
Oh, cool. Okay.
She got nominated for that. That's so she hasn't been nominated since 1993. And
Damn.
dude, like her and Lawrence Fishburne both were nominated. He played Ike Turner in the movie, and just like a little bit about Tina Turner's life. Of course, like she was part of Ike and Tina originally, and Ike
Mhm.
was like her manager. He also her husband, and according to her, he denied this all the way up until his death or whatever. But according to her, he used to like beat the hell out of her. Like they had a really like tumultuous, like abusive relationship, and
Oh,
Lawrence Fishburne and Angela Bassett fully commit. Like there are scenes in that movie where they're fighting where it looks like they were actually fighting, and like to watch
really?
them and to hear them talk about filming it, like Lawrence Fishburne had a hard time watching it for a long time because he was just like he's like this is not me. Of course, he had to like kind of distance himself from it, and but
Right.
him and he had worked with Angela Bassett before in Boys in the Hood, so it helped that they knew each other already.
Who's Angela
Uh,
Bassett? And boy, I love that movie.
she was a mother. She was Cuba Gooding Jr.'s mother, and she's only in like a couple.
What?
She's not in a lot of scenes, but like like they have like a
I
few
did
scenes
not know that
together.
was her.
Yeah, so like they've worked together before, and like you could tell like hard movie for them to do, but probably safe space because they knew each other.
Yeah.
And like if you ever watch it, like you could just see her like giving the performance of like a lifetime in that.
I'll be adding
She
that
didn't,
to the list for sure.
and she didn't win, so there's a lot of like she's having this moment now again during the award season where you can just tell that she's just
Mhm.
genuinely happy to be there. And what I love too is that like she's happy to be representing Marvel too. And I think that might be a little bit of a detriment where the Academy
Yeah.
and we'll see this too, like when the Hollywood Reporter releases their like anonymous like people like when they talk to people anonymously from like the Academy and like
I'm gonna want to read that big time.
yeah, and I have a
I'm
feeling
excited for that.
I have a feeling you're gonna hear some people being like, "Yeah, but it's a Marvel movie, and we don't know if we want to like give an award for that." But
Right.
a good performance is a good performance no matter what movie it's in, and she's my pick. I'm sticking with her to take it all.
All right. Fair enough. I mean, I can see it happening. Um, for myself, this is one where I've seen all the performances from. No, I'm literally lying. I haven't seen Black Panther. What am I talking about? I'm literally
That's hilarious.
talking out
I
of
love
my
that you
ass.
called yourself out. I literally lied during that.
I like my brain was saying one thing and my mouth is saying another. So no, I haven't seen Wakanda Forever, but a factor going into my decision is the whole Marvel performance. And just from that alone and not having seen it is leading me towards another performer. I have a feeling they're gonna go with Karen. If not her though, like maybe the Marvel thing won't be such a big deal for the Academy voters. Maybe Angela will get it. I can see it happening, but just
Yeah.
by that alone, I feel safer choosing Carrie Condon. And again, very underrated. I wouldn't feel bad if Hong Chow won for The Whale either. She was a big part of
Yeah,
why I like
really
that
good.
movie a
It's a
lot.
really good performance, dude. I mean, like, I feel like
Glad to
this is
see her
another situation.
recognized.
Yeah, probably pretty another situation where the nomination's a win. But yeah,
Mhm.
she was really great in that movie. And I mean, I feel bad discrediting her and Stephanie Shu. Like, I like if in a less competitive year, I would probably be more inclined to like pick one of them. Uh,
Right. And it's a
but
strong year for performance.
yeah, and it's hard when like when like a certain performance has led most of award season, where it's like, all right, this seems like where they're going here.
Right.
Fucking, Jamie Lee Curtis just like curveball with that SAG award win, but yeah, I can, you know what, you're not the only one who's talked about Carrie Condon, and honestly, that discussion about splitting the vote with Angela and Jamie Lee Curtis and Carrie kind of sneaking in and getting it.
Right.
She did win the BAFTA, but like I said, the BAFTA loves their own, so like they took
That's
care of
right.
that movie big time. I wouldn't be upset if she won because I thought she was really good in the movie, too. But yeah, honestly, dude, you don't even have to go on Disney Plus. I think if you just typed in Angela Bassett, Black Panther,
probably YouTube it.
You probably just see that and you're like, all right,
I'm gonna do it. I wish I had thought to do
why.
that before this conversation, but I was like, I'm not gonna get a chance to see the movie before, so I just kind of wrote it off as not being able to see her performance. But I should have done that. But it didn't occur to me. I probably will after this conversation.
Yeah.
All right.
Alrighty.
Next category, we got actor in a supporting role. Having a look here. This is another one where I've only seen 4 of the 5. I have not seen Brian Tyree Henry in Causeway, although I did see his performance in Bullet Train last year. I thought he was very good. Not nominated, though, this year. He was nominated for Causeway, which I had not seen or heard of prior to these nominations. But alongside him, we've got Brendan Gleeson in The Banshees of Inisherin, Judd Hirsch in The Fabelmans, Barry Keoghan in The Banshees of Inisherin, and of course, Ke Huy Quan for Everything Everywhere All at Once, who is my pick for would and should. I feel very confidently he will be holding that trophy on March the 12th.
And he'll probably make us all cry.
Yeah, exactly.
I
can't wait for his speech.
Ke Huy Quan is like every award season kind of has like a sentimental like, oh, look at this guy go, or look at this girl go, and he's been that. And it's just to hear his story. I mean, like, he stepped out of the industry a while ago. I mean, he either couldn't get work or wasn't getting offered roles that were probably just stereotypes and blah blah blah. Didn't want to play that. He wasn't getting the roles that he thought he should be getting. This is someone, I mean, like, is in some of your childhood favorites growing up. Like, if you Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, the Goonies, like, he is very much
2 right there. Wow.
Very much your 80s childhood. Like, if you were a fan of those movies, you know exactly who he is. And to hear his story, even after he did this movie, he said that he could even like get health insurance. Like, he wasn't even like able to like book anything after he made it. It wasn't until like people saw it and they were like, oh, like, look at that guy. Oh, I remember that guy from like, my childhood, that his fortunes started to like change. So it's like, to hear kind of like the struggle and to also support it because it's a really great performance. He's really good in it.
Damn good performance.
I'm not just shooting and wooding, and he will, just because it's a sentimental favorite. I think he is the best of the performers in this category. I actually did see Causeway. Causeway is another situation with Brian Tyree Henry that everyone was rooting for him to get the nomination because he was kind of in and out. Again, the nomination's a win here, I think, for him. Very good performance though. It's like a very subtle, like, understated performance, but it's really good.
Absolutely.
And by the way, if you had a speaking role in the Banshees of Inisherin, you probably got nominated.
You were nominated.
You were nominated. They couldn't nominate animals. That's the only reason why it wasn't nominated at all. And then Judd Hirsch in The Fabelmans. I prefer Paul Dano, I guess, of the two.
Interesting pick.
Yeah,
Judd Hirsch is in like one little bit of that movie, and he's good, but I don't. Yeah. Again, he's kind of like Jamie Lee Curtis for me in that.
Yeah, like a career thing.
But
this is like probably the easiest category. If Ke Huy Quan doesn't win, I'm gonna throw chairs because I'll be upset for him.
I'll be turning my table. Because again, I've been saying it, and I'll reiterate. Like, if there's one category that I'd bet money on, it would be this one. Would be for supporting actor. And although I'm sure I'm gonna make probably a couple bets on a few of them, that's the one I feel the most confident in, and he's pretty much swept the awards so far, with the exception of one.
The BAFTA. He didn't win the BAFTA, but Barry
won the BAFTA.
Barry did.
Oh, right.
And that's because the BAFTAs, like we've been saying, they love their own.
They look after their own.
They look after their own.
That's right.
But him not winning the BAFTA, that's not even like I don't think that really
I
change
don't
as much. He's won
change.
everything else.
No, agreed.
He's
Exactly.
literally his trophy case is full, except for not having a BAFTA. But he can just put the Oscar right there
Exactly.
when he wins it. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's the only category that like I am like sure, like completely sure. Like if he doesn't win, like I said, I'll throw
Me
chairs.
too.
You'll turn over your table. So like yeah.
Between the two
So
of us, our furniture will be destroyed.
yeah, destroyed. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'm definitely going with that one. With him
Okay.
all the way. All
The next
right.
one I'm going to need your help with because my page is cut off at the bottom, but sequentially, the next category I got is original screenplay. I can only see the first three nominations on my paper, so
All
let
right.
us know what they are.
All right. Best original screenplay. We got the Daniels for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Martin McDonagh for The Banshees of Inisherin. Uh, is it Ruben Ostlund? Yeah, for Triangle of
Yep.
Sadness. Steven Spielberg and Tony Kushner for The Fablemans, and Todd Field for Tar. This category got hard too, and I don't know who won. Like, we don't know who won the WGA one yet, which is like the Writers
Right.
Guild. That would certainly help. So when we talked about this category, I remember telling you that I feel like Martin McDonagh is not going to win director. That movie's not going to win Best Picture, but I feel like they want to give it something. And this is what
Right.
I
And
thought
this is
they
one
would
to
give it.
give.
The only like thing I'm torn on is talking about like original screenplay and how like original and offbeat it is. It's hard for me not to go behind Everything Everywhere All at Once. Um,
Right.
this is gonna be one of those things where it's like my should is like more of a sentimental like, oh, that'd be really cool if this like really strange fucking movie won this award. But my will is different from my should based on what I just said to you about Martin McDonagh, because I think they want to give him something. And this is like the one category where they could. And I guess like the outlier here like it wouldn't be a surprise because like I said, the Academy loves movies about movies. The Fablemans would be like kind of up there too, not as high as like the other two I mentioned.
Right.
Um,
A strong third.
and speaking of the whole thing with Tar, um, I feel like they want to give that something too. Like I guess they would give it if anything, it'd be Kate
It
Blanchett.
deserves
That way,
something.
it deserves
Yeah.
something. Um, I don't think it's gonna win here either. So my should will be the Daniels for Everything Everywhere All at Once, and my will I'm gonna go behind your boy and his movie Martin McDonagh for the Banshees of Inisherin because I think they want to give him something.
Interesting.
Um, so yeah, again, this was a hard one, and it only got hard because like I was like, it for me, it's between those two movies, and
Absolutely.
yeah. All right, what about you?
For myself as well. Interestingly enough, I only just noticed a few moments ago with this conversation that all the nominees for screenplay they wrote and directed their movies, which I don't
Yeah.
know how like even if it's like 4 out of 5, the fact that all 5 of them wrote
Yep.
and directed is pretty cool. Um, I'm pretty much in the same ballpark as you, except like I wouldn't be surprised if they give it to Banshee so it can have its Oscar.
Yeah.
Um, but I do think really Everything Everywhere really encapsulates what it means to be an original screenplay. And I think the Academy would be remiss to deny them that Oscar. So I'm going to go with
Yeah.
my should and would. As much as I really love the screenplay for Banshees, I'm going to put them both with Everything Everywhere. I'm putting all my marbles on Everything Everywhere All at Once and the Daniels. And just a truly, I mean, I remember seeing it coming out of the theater and thought was I've not seen a movie that wholly original in a very long time. And
Yeah.
I'm standing by that. I
All
think it's
right.
gonna
Well, you know what? If we were predicting our predictions, I would have been wrong because I thought you were gonna go all in on
oh yeah,
on.
on
I thought you were gonna go
Banshees.
all. I thought you were. I mean, that's your dude. I thought you were gonna go all in on.
I'm not gonna be mad if it wins, but I just really think the Daniels, that's their strongest contender to me in this original screenplay
Yeah.
and directing, I think as well.
Yeah.
Two
All right.
great ones. And I think it's gonna win multiple. So those are the ones I think they have the best chance.
All right. And
Next
we
one's a
brought.
similar category.
Yeah, we brought
What's
this
that,
up
sorry?
too. Like everything, all at once has potential to sweep in like the major categories, like which I think
It
hasn't happened
does, which
since
is
like the Silence
exciting.
of the Lambs, which is like
That's right.
picture director, actress. God, if you get screenplay, I mean, there's a lot that
Right.
you could win, and like that's potentially very exciting for that movie.
I
Um,
wouldn't be mad if it did. It'd be pretty
Yeah,
cool to see.
this next category is hard. I mean, I actually didn't know what to do for this one. I want to kind of see where you're at for adapted screenplay.
Oh my
Um,
god, man.
yeah.
Um, yeah, lead us off.
All right, all right. Best adapted screenplay. I'm gonna butcher this person's name, but I'll just say For Living. I don't want to get it wrong. Uh,
Okay, yeah.
Kazuo.
Is he not
It's
English?
it looks like it's not English. So sorry.
I'm gonna look it up. I don't even know anything about
Okay.
Living.
It's a Kazuo. So is that like Kazuo? I'll just go with that. And so For Living,
Oh yeah.
Top Gun Maverick.
Ishiguro. Interesting.
Top Gun Maverick had I didn't realize had three screenwriters or maybe more. I can't tell. I just got caught off. Christopher
I
McCurry,
think it
Peter
has more
Craig.
than
It
three.
has more than three, and what's listed on here is well, I have three, but it does say dot dot dot, so I think it might have more. And Aaron Kruger. Shout out to Aaron Kruger, even though you did write the least compelling Scream film. You wrote Scream 3. It's cool that you got an Oscar nomination in your post Scream 3 career. um, and then Sarah Pauly for Women Talking. Glass Onion, A Knives Out Mystery, Ryan Johnson. And then Edward Berger, Elle Patterson, and Ian Stockwell for All Quiet on the Western Front. Um, shoot. You know what? I'm gonna make this easy. I'm just gonna do it quick, and I'm gonna go behind because I also feel like this might be a situation where they can give this movie something.
I think I know what you're going with.
Should and will Sarah Pauly for Women Talking. I'm gonna give it to her, and
Great choice.
I think it's the same situation where it's like it's not gonna win Best Picture, and like
Right.
it's crazy.
Deserves something now.
And she didn't get, of course, she didn't get like a directing nomination, even though she got a Best Picture nomination and a Best Adapted Screenplay nomination.
Right.
I think this could be a really big win for Sarah Pauly. I've loved Sarah Pauly since there's a movie called Go that came out in 1999. It's like great, underrated, like dark comedy that she's in, and
Okay.
she's still showing that. So I've loved her since like that movie, and I didn't even know that she was like writing movies until this came about. So like, it'd be cool to see her win. It's so crazy too because like I think Top Gun Maverick should win something, but I don't think it's gonna win any of the major ones that it's in.
I agree.
But yeah, I'm going with that. You know what's funny though? I love the screenplay for Glass Onion and Knives Out Mystery. I actually thought that movie was, I actually liked it slightly more than the first one. I know that's like a big debate for some people.
For some, I've heard people say that. Though you're not the only one I've heard say that, but
kind of shows that Ryan Johnson's a great writer. But like,
yeah.
I'm going. Sarah Pauly should and will for Women Talking.
Alrighty. Just while looking up who wrote Living, I did not know this at all until right now, and this little tidbit is just skyrocketed. Living as like a watch I want to get into, and I honestly didn't know anything about it, which is kind of ignorant of me. I didn't care to see it because I just knew so little. Yeah. Which is weird because it's been nominated for a few Oscars, but it is adapted on Akira Kurosawa's film Ikiro, which I did not know that at all. So Kazuo Ishiguro wrote Living and based it on Akira Kurosawa, the late great Japanese director, adapted his movie. I did not know that, so that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Well, you know what? I can send it to you today because I got it today, so I can.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, watch it first. Let me know what you think.
Yeah, But yeah, like the other ones, I mean, I think All Quiet is going to win. I think it's in the foreign language category. I think as well. I think I think that will be the one that it wins. Of course, Glass Onion. I mean, maybe in a less competitive year, it might have had a shot. It is a really good screenplay. I also don't like what I don't like about Glass Onion being in there is like you can get into an adapted screenplay category if you're a sequel. Even though it's not based on like this is the original script, right? It's not based on anything, but it's the fact that it's a sequel that is able to like be nominated in the adapted screenplay category. Because when Knives Out was nominated, it was nominated in Best Original Screenplay, the first one, and a lot of people were wondering why it ended up in adapting here. And it's because the Academy has this weird rule where sequels are like adapt because it's like you're taking characters that have been like, which is why Top Gun Maverick is also here. It's a sequel, so it's a weird rule. It's a really weird rule, but yeah, Sarah Pauly all day for Women Talking.
Fair enough. I have to agree with you on this one. There's a couple factors though that lead into this decision. Otherwise, if All Quiet on the Western Front hadn't been adapting the 30s classic, I'd say it would have a more of a leg to stand on. But it's a pretty
Yeah.
faithful adaptation, so I don't think
Hmm.
it's really gonna blow too many people out of the water. As much as I love the screenplay for it,
Yeah.
and I really much enjoy the movie, it'll come up later in some of my predictions. I just don't think it has much to stand on there. I have no dog in the fight for Living and its screenplay. Top Gun Maverick, I was absolutely floored by. I really loved, but I do agree. I think, and I'm fresh off Women Talking. Just saw it on Saturday,
Yeah.
and I thought it was an awesome screenplay, and it's got my weight on it as well. So, Women
Boom.
Talking for adaptives.
All right, let's go,
Yeah,
Sarah
it would be
Pauly.
good for Sarah. Yeah.
Yeah. All righty.
Animated features next. I have not seen a single one, so I don't
Uh,
care,
I want.
which is a shame.
You know
But I
what?
mean, I don't care in terms of I don't have an opinion because I haven't seen them.
You know
That's
what,
more
dude?
what I mean.
I actually think I might be in the same boat as you because I'm pulling
See
it up right
Puss in
now.
Boots.
I mean, I have it. I just haven't watched it yet. Um, I've just been amazed by
Actually,
its. I've been amazed by its box office journey, though. I mean, as you know,
yeah,
it's it's
I'm.
been
I'd
killing
be
it.
foolish not to say that Guillermo del Toro. I changed my mind. I do think he's going to win it. Having not seen it, he's just a mastermind with his
Yeah,
animation. And my buddy Cam, who I just watched Blonde with, that was a watch he got in the previous week and had nothing but good things to say. And G is really a master, so I wouldn't be
yeah,
surprised if he wins that one. But having not seen
yeah,
it, I don't got
yeah.
much of an
For
opinion.
so animated features are hard for me too because like God, I don't rush out to see them in theaters a lot. It's hard seeing movies where children are the primary audience because kids can be kids. So I usually like
Right.
if I do see an animated movie, it's usually like at night or like when I know a bunch of kids won't be there. Um,
Hey, yeah,
but
nothing
yeah,
takes up a movie
so
like a bunch of kids laughing and crying and sneezing and being annoying.
right, so I did lie here. I did see two of these. I saw Turning Red and I did see Pinocchio. Um, So to let everyone else know what's nominated, Turning Red is nominated for Best Animated Feature. So is Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. Marcel the Shell with the Shoes on, never even heard of it until it got nominated here. The Sea Beast,
It's a
same thing with the Sea Beast. I'm sure they're great.
yeah,
I
I don't
just
know
haven't
that
seen
one.
them. And then Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which I mean, not only its box office journey, it has like a 90 something percent on Rotten Tomatoes. It like apparently is a very, very solid
Holy.
sequel. Um, if Guillermo del
Okay.
Toro's Pinocchio wasn't here, I would go all in on Puss in Boots, but I'm doing should and
Yeah,
will Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
I
You know,
concur.
he's also swept other awards in this category so far, so
Right.
I think he's the one to beat.
I don't even
And
think
I'm
it's a
fine.
competition. If his name's in there, especially in animated, uh,
Yeah,
it's his trophy as far as I'm
I
concerned.
know. But Joel Crawford, Mark Swift, Puss in Boots, you should be very proud that you made a sequel that a lot of people think is better than the original, and it's outgrossed the original at least domestically so far. So like,
Wow.
I mean, it's been chilling in the top five for like 10, 11 weeks. So good for you guys on that. And
Good
the
for it.
nominations probably win, but yeah, Pinocchio going with that. Should and will.
Alrighty.
All right.
Yeah, a good guess. Next is documentary feature. I have even less of a dog in that fight than I do animated. I haven't seen any of them. Also been a category. As much as I like mainstream documentaries, it's a category I've never really given the proper attention to, and this year's no exception. I'd like to say I'd change that, but I'm just such a feature film watcher. It's
Right.
hard, and I don't know how accessible documentaries are for me, but I have no say on that category.
I don't either. So this is gonna be really fun. That we're just gonna just guess. um,
For sure.
so guys, all that breathes is best documentary feature. Fire of Love, All the Beauty and the Bloodshed, A House Made of Splinters, and Navalny. I guess is how you pronounce that.
Uh,
Um,
they have crazy Rotten Tomato
yo,
scores.
I'll just be very real with our listeners and say I'm just gonna pick this based on what has the coolest name. Because I haven't seen any of them. So sorry. Um, it's got a cool name. I'm just gonna go with All the Beauty and the Bloodshed because it has a really cool
That does
name.
have a cool name. I
I'm going.
think a house made of splinters sounds dope too.
Yeah, it actually
Uh,
does sound cool.
I am excited to see what they're about, though. I love that segment in the ceremony where they do cover the documentaries, and a lot of them are usually mind blowing. Like I remember a few years ago, what Free Solo, holy shit!
Yeah,
Like
I did
that
remember seeing
documentary looked
that. Yeah,
insane.
yeah,
Like so,
yeah.
I'm
I,
interested to see what these movies are about, but
yeah.
I have a
And this is
pick. I don't know anything about them.
well, you go the cool name route, man.
Yeah, yeah. I'll go just to counter you. I'm gonna go with House Made of Splinters, and we'll see.
All right. This is gonna be like the one category that like screws up our Oscar pool.
Yeah,
What are the categories?
exactly.
All right, what do we got next?
Next, another one, international feature film, of which I've only seen one. The nominees are The Quiet Girl, which is from Ireland. We've got EO from Poland. EO, just the letters. We've got Close out of Belgium. From Argentina, we have Argentina 1985, which I think won Golden Globe, did it not?
Yeah, I think believe it did. Yeah, and I think everyone was all like, "What
I
about
think it did.
what?"
It won something.
Yeah, it did win something. Yeah,
Yeah. And the only one that I've seen out of Germany, All Quiet on the Western Front, which I have to give my pick to, despite Argentina 1985 winning the Globe. I want All Quiet to win something, and I want it to win international feature film. So that is my pick.
yeah. I'm gonna stay with you. I think they want to give it something, and this is like the best category it can win in. Is this best international feature film?
Mm-hmm.
And I should and will All Quiet on the Western Front. That one's pretty easy. The whole Argentina 1985 winning a Golden Globe. That I mean, sometimes the Golden Globes just they like to be weird and not go with like
Yeah, exactly. Be a little
what
different.
everyone thought would win. But yeah, I think the
Right.
Academy will go get behind All Quiet on the Western Front in this category.
I agree.
Boom, that was the easy one.
Yeah, not too bad. Next one's a little bit more of a talking point. It's original score. There's one on here I haven't seen, and it's the one that I think is going to win. And we were actually Cam and I watched Blonde as of recording today, Sunday. It was my mistake. We had lined up to watch Babylon, and I
Yeah.
had mixed up my B's and prepped Blonde not
Put Blonde.
there, and that's why we saw Blonde, which works out because I wanted to see Anna's performance before this conversation. So I'm not bad. It went that way. Forgot about Babylon's score and Justin Hurwitz being is it 4 for 4 on nominations and wins,
So everything that he's done with Damien Chazelle, yeah, I think, yeah,
which is quite impressive. I loved the score for All Quiet on the Western Front, though. It really brought me into that movie, and it was just fit the tone of that movie so well.
yeah.
So the nominees are again All Quiet on the Western Front. It doesn't on my list here. It doesn't say who the composer is, which is I wish it had done that, but maybe you can fill in those gaps for us. Babylon, of course, is Justin Hurwitz. We've got the Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and the Fablemans.
All right. Well, this was pretty easy, I think, just because
Yeah, I agree.
uh you know what's funny is that Carter Burwell did the score for Banshees, and he did the score for In Bruges as well. And I remember when we talked about on the
Oh,
the 15th anniversary for that movie, how good that music is, like the score is in Bruges. He's a
so
really
awesome.
good Carter Burwell's a really good composer. Just wanted to throw that out there about him. And then John Williams is a legend. You know,
That's right.
Fableman's he would be like a sentimental, but he's won a lot, so like it's not like uh he doesn't need it. But only because Justin Hortz, his track record of winning is pretty good, and this is the only thing Babylon will probably win. So
Yeah,
I will
I agree.
should and will on Justin for Babylon.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. It's a shame. Like I can't wait to see it because I have a feeling that it's just going to be
Music's
one of
great.
those
Music's
movies.
so good.
Yeah, and I feel like it's criminally underrated in a lot of the other categories, like Damien Chazelle's last movie was.
Dude,
So
like his music
I'm
goes
excited to be able to
off.
chat a little bit further.
Yeah, the opening of that
Yeah,
movie, his
he's a
music is
musically
like
inclined guy.
insane. It like puts you right in like the heart of this like crazy screwed up Hollywood party. I mean, like when you watch the opening of Babylon, you'll just wish like the whole movie had that energy. Like it just like it
Right.
sucks you in like right away, and you're just like you feel like you're there. Like you really feel like you're there, and like his music has a lot to do with like how much that opening comes alive, and like I think he's gonna win, and he should. It's really good piece of music, and it's also really different from like what the other composers are doing. It doesn't really feel like a movie score because it's got a lot of like jazz influence and like a lot of stuff going on. Like different types of music going on. So it makes it unique in that regard too. But yeah, I think he's gonna win for sure.
All righty. Yeah, easy pick, I think, like you said.
Yeah.
Next, like major category, just to save on some ones that aren't as important, quote unquote. Yeah. They're all important, but for the sake of the video, want to move over to cinematography, which is a
why is it Top Gun category. Maverick there? Top Gun Maverick should be there.
Why is Elvis there? Like I just saw that Saturday. I didn't think the cinematography was much.
Why isn't the Batman there? Oh, also to go back to original.
Why isn't the Northman there?
To go back to original score, the Batman's original score is so good. I don't even know. It didn't even get like
that's a great point.
It didn't even get shortlisted to be included, and then cinematography. I mean, say what you will. If Top Gun Maverick was in that category, it would have been a for sure win. Because that was a really great looking movie, and the Batman was also a great looking movie. And like you said, the Northman was also a great looking movie. Not even here. God.
My pick if it was there.
Not even listed. And there's some questionable ones here. But
I was disappointed when this category came out because it's one that I really, really love. And the picks, there's a couple in there that no doubt deserve it, but there's a few in there. I'm just like, I'm curious what was going through.
Are you looking at Elvis? Did they
I'm looking at Elvis. I don't want to take anything away from Tar. I loved Tar. I just didn't think and it's not to say cinematography was bad. It's just I think there's other movies that deserve to be on there ahead of it.
You know what? It's because Mandy Walker working with Baz Luhrmann, I think, kind of confused everyone with their razzle dazzle. They confused razzle dazzle with being like good look. I mean, it's like it's not like a bad looking movie, but like it's more like flash.
It's bright and colorful.
That's like all his movies, though. I mean,
exactly.
Baz Luhrmann, in case you guys don't know, you're watching a Baz Luhrmann movie when you're watching one. So if you've ever seen if you've ever seen Romeo and Juliet from 1996 or Moulin Rouge or The Great Gatsby, you know exactly what a Baz Luhrmann looks and feels like. And Elvis was no exception. I would argue that some of his visual flourishes took away from some of the things that were going on in Elvis. It was just too much at times. But that's just me. I know people disagree with it. A lot of people like the movie. I actually did like it. I just didn't. I was more floored by Austin Butler than the movie itself, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, yeah. I can't wait to chat Elvis.
Yeah,
and Blonde. I feel like that conversation goes hand in hand where they're both biopics. I had to chat those, but yeah, no. Austin Butler, was incredible in that.
So for those that don't know, Top Gun Maverick and the Batman were not nominated in this category. Neither was the Northman. They should be there. I'm going to say that again. Jackson also agrees that they should probably be there. But the movies that are but the movies that are here are Empire of Light, All Quiet on the Western Front, which actually of these looks the best. And then Bardo. Oh, actually, I haven't seen Bardo, so I can't say. Bardo, False Chronicle of a Handful of Truths, Elvis, as we mentioned, and Tar. Of the ones I've seen, and the best looking of the ones I've seen, I'm going all in with the should and will on All Quiet on the Western Front. Because I actually think it earned that cinematography nomination compared to some of the other ones.
And I was actually surprised to see it recognized. It was a strong year wise. And I'm not saying surprised in a way that I didn't think it deserved the nomination. I'm just surprised that the Academy recognized it for that, especially where it already racked up a few other nominations. So yeah, I'm with you on that one too, putting my should and would with that. But that being said, I haven't seen Empire of Light, which of course was shot by the great Roger Deakins. So I again couldn't be surprised if they give it to him, but I haven't seen it. Don't know how it looks, but no doubt it's beautiful. And I haven't seen Bardo, which is that Iñárritu or is it
I think so.
Or is it why am I blanking on another Mexican filmmaker? Who did Birdman?
Oh wait, I don't think it's him. Hold on, I'm gonna look at that right now. Very live looking up. Oh, it's on Netflix. I guess I could watch it. Whoops, I didn't realize it. I didn't realize that. Yeah, it is. It is. You're right. It is.
Directed okay.
Directed and written by I
still don't know who I was thinking it might have been, but anyway.
No, you're right. You're right.
regardless. Okay.
Good instincts on that one. Yeah, I'm going All Quiet on the Western Front. And for those who are curious who did the cinematography, that is James Friend did the cinematography for All Quiet on the Western Front. And I would also urge Academy voters or people in the Academy, please go back on your very nice TVs and rewatch Top Gun Maverick, the Batman, and the Northman, and then make yourself question why you didn't nominate any of those movies for best cinematography. And then
beyond me, man.
And then honestly, if you guys haven't submitted your anonymous whatever, mention why you didn't nominate Top Gun Maverick, the Batman.
I would love to know
for best cinematography. Like 3 of the best looking movies of 2022. That's all I gotta say on that.
Truly baffles me.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand.
There's one more category before Best Picture that I wanted to go over, which I think, and it's the one where the Batman is nominated, and that is for visual effects.
Okay.
And I'll let you lead off, but just for the listeners, the nominees for visual effects are again All Quiet on the Western Front. Just nice to see that movie get so much love.
Yeah.
Avatar: The Way of Water, of course. I mean, that's no surprise. This is, I think, the Batman's only nomination is for visual effects, which an interesting one. The effects are great, but again, just deserved more.
Yeah.
Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, and Top Gun Maverick.
All right. Well, everyone else should go home and just except for Avatar: The Way of Water. I didn't even see it. It's the only Best Picture nominee that I haven't seen. We've already talked about why I haven't.
I didn't realize that.
And we already talked about why I haven't seen it, because I don't have 3 hours and some odd minutes to spare in the movie theater, especially when I didn't love the first movie. I'll watch it whenever it gets to my home.
When I have the time for it,
when I have the time to like put into it. But yeah, there's no way that movie's not winning for best visual effects.
There's
crazy that the Batman got nominated for best visual effects, but you can't acknowledge that it looked great. That it also had great cinematography.
Yeah, great fucking point. That is just so strange.
What's funny is that cinematography, like for some people, might not be like considered a major category, but it's the one I'm the most upset about for what was excluded.
Absolutely, it's one of my favorite categories beyond Best Picture and the acting ones.
But if Avatar wasn't here, I would maybe go with Top Gun Maverick. Black Panther Marvel special effects has been really questionable lately. And I don't know if you've read some of those stories where a lot of those people have said they were like overworked and like a lot of the visual effects taking like down to the wire last minute. It's been like a lot of them have spoken like anonymously about the working conditions on some of these big Marvel movies. Thinking back on it now, there's nothing. I mean, it's a good looking movie, but nothing about the visual effects like really pop or stand out that I can recall right now. But yeah, I mean, Avatar this is the only award. I mean, it might win some other technical ones that it's in, maybe, but this is the one it's for sure getting. Because for whatever, even if people find fault with the movie, everyone has agreed that it is a very, very great, spectacular looking movie. And James Cameron has continued to push the boundaries of visual effects. So there's no denying him there. So yeah, should and will.
Exactly.
Avatar.
Should and will. I mean, ideally, I would like to see something that kind of utilize more practical effects win in this category, but I feel like Avatar is the exception, where James Cameron is just such an innovator with his visual effects that I think he really does deserve the recognition for all the hard work he's put into making that movie look the way it does. So I'm not mad if it wins that, but there's really nothing else to be said about that hasn't already been said. It's a clear winner. Again, maybe another one that I think would be a really safe pick to throw money on. Like, hard to imagine anybody else winning that.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the last and the final Best Picture nominees, which is going to be a great conversation. I'm still a little bit torn on this one. I'll let you read off the nominations though, if you'd like.
All right. Pulling it up right now. No, not Best Original Song. All right, here we go. All right. Best Picture. Top Gun Maverick. Women Talking. Everything Everywhere All at Once. The Banshees of Inisherin. Triangle of Sadness, The Fablemans, All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar: The Way of Water, Elvis, and Tar. Um,
What a
actually, this is
year.
actually yeah, it's really good year. All right, guys, just to
What are you
like
feeling?
kind of everything everywhere all at once won the Producers Guild Award, which is like a really big indication of like where Best Picture can go. And I think since we've been talking during the award season, that I've put a lot of my weight behind everything everywhere all at once, and I'm going to continue to do so. Should and will, and it'll
Okay.
be really great if the Academy does it to have this really quirky, like offbeat, not Oscar bait kind of movie actually
Right.
win the top prize would be really cool to see. Because like on paper, this does not seem like it would be like an Academy Award nominated movie. Like if you were just like reading about it, but
Right.
everyone that but once you see it, you just realize how creative and like just imaginative. Like a lot of people like when this movie was playing in theaters, like everything everywhere all at once was like slowly making decent amount of money, and then you also had like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness that was also making money, and then a lot of people were like, no, the multiverse movie you should be seeing right now is Everything Everywhere
Right.
All at Once, and like it's been like this little engine that could like since it came out. I think it's officially A24's highest grossing movie. What's
Okay. No surprise.
that studio has cranked out a lot of imaginative, really good movies during the. I mean, I feel like that's like there. Of course, there's like focus features and stuff, but I think A24 is like the go-to for like really good, groundbreaking, independent, smaller movies.
They're
Like,
yeah, they're like cousin studios. I look at them very much similarly. But I'm a
yeah,
big
yeah,
A24 stan. So like I see almost everything that they do and usually love it. And
yeah.
I honestly over the last like 10 years or so, they've really become a front runner for nominations as a studio, which is
Yeah.
just great to see.
Yeah. And what's crazy is that when we started award season talk, I think I was like the Fablemans might take it because it's like again Spielberg sentimental favorite. Academy loves movies about making movies.
Right.
But I think he lost momentum, like not winning the GGA award as a director,
Yeah.
and then not winning the PGA, the Producers Guild award as a producer, and you know all these other movies are just. Well, I haven't seen Avatar: Way of Water, so sorry. I'm sure it belongs there. Um,
I I don't think I can, so I think if there's one not to see, it's probably that one.
but yeah, I'm going with Everything Everywhere All at Once to take home the big prize.
For sure, Dan Wood.
Yeah, should and would and will. Yeah,
Okay. Um, yeah, this has been a really tough category this year. Again, I think utilizing all 10 spots was, I don't know if it's a mistake. It's just made it harder than it needed to be. There's definitely some movies on good as they are,
yeah,
kind of take away some of the spotlight from some of the other genuinely best pictures from last year.
yeah,
I think looking at the list right now, I'm kind of like far removed. I saw Top Gun 3 times in theaters, and it is one of my favorite experiences in the last, like probably ever at the movies. But it is one that as much as as awesome as it was, and there's a lot to be said about that movie and its role in cinema last year and at the box office, and did it save movies during
movies.
COVID? It's it's just kind of like when it comes to like those big blockbusters, like I don't know. I feel like it's not one that really needed that recognition by being nominated for Best Picture. And for that reason, as much, and that's not to knock it in any way, just
Yeah,
just not my pick. As really enjoy Top Gun. Don't get me wrong. None of like what I'm saying is supposed to detract from my experience with the movie. I think looking at it now, my favorite experience was All Quiet in the Western Front. That's not necessarily I think that it should win. I think I'm going to go with will win Everything Everywhere All at Once. Just it's got phenomenal traction
yeah,
and is a safe pick and by all accounts deserves it. Um, that being said, I wouldn't be upset or mad if Banshees of Inisherin won, or surprised, I guess would be a better way. I wouldn't be
yeah.
surprised if Banshees snuck in and took it as well. But I'm gonna go with will Everything Everywhere at Once, and should my heart wants to go. Oddly enough, it wants to go with All Quiet on the Western Front. It was just my favorite movie on this list anyway. But I think Everything Everywhere is safe.
All right. I mean, that was I actually liked how you broke that down. I was like, where's he gonna go with like his should?
Well, thanks.
I was like, where's he going? I was like, and someone made an interesting point about Top Gun Maverick. I do agree that I mean, it sounds dramatic, but like it did kind of, it showed that like a movie like that could like, it made movie theaters kind of viable again. I think it kind of
Right.
like, there was an argument that my friend made that was like, didn't Spider-Man No Way Home make a lot of money like during COVID? I was like, yes, that's true.
Yeah, it
It
was a billion
did.
dollar movie.
It
Yep.
did, but here's the difference. I think Marvel, for the most part, is a safe bet. I think Top Gun Maverick, I think everyone thought that movie was going to do well, but I don't think anyone saw almost $750 million domestically and like $1.4
Right.
billion worldwide. Like, no one saw that coming. And the fact that, like, not only did it open high, but like, it had like really small drops in like the subsequent weeks, like after it came out, it stayed in the top five for a while. It played throughout the entire summer season. Like even when like a summer movie comes
Yep.
out and it's well received, there's still like kind of like a big drop because there's other movies that are coming out. Like there's other big summer releases that people kind of turn their attention to, and no one really turned
Right.
their attention away from Top Gun. So that's why I think it's different in the sense like than Spider-Man was, where like, Spider-Man, you know, Tom Holland really beloved in that role. It's Marvel. It
Hmm.
it had all, even though they kept lying, it had all the hype of like, I'm pretty sure Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are in this. I'm pretty sure, like,
Right.
and so it had that curiosity factor into it. So I think that movie doing well, it was going to do well. I mean, I think people probably would have gone to that movie with COVID to go see it.
Exactly.
Um,
Probably.
but like Top Gun
I'm
was a
sure many
different. I mean,
did.
there was no sure thing. I think like, I mean, you're talking about a sequel that was what 25 plus years since like the original came out. Like it's up
Yeah.
there. I mean,
36.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. So like up there. So like there was no, and like, legacy sequels. I mean, we're gonna have like a episode down the line where we talk about legacy sequels, but like that is like it's always not a sure thing. But I think lately, like, you've seen it with like, you saw it with Scream last year, being able to bring that back. You see it with Top Gun Maverick.
Right.
Now you're getting like all these other movies that are like being declared as like legacy sequels. But yeah, it wasn't a sure thing. And like the fact that Steven Spielberg said that to Tom Cruise, like, you saved
Right.
Hollywood's ass, like that was verbatim what he said.
Sweet.
That's a big testament of like, I mean, they've worked together before, like they know each other, but like, the fact that like he was like, no, like that movie proved like what movies can do, like at the theater. Like people will go
Hmm.
out and see like something they are really into, and like Top Gun Maverick, it hit with like all sorts of demographics. It was young, it was old, it was people that grew up with the movie, people that saw the original later. It with women. It appealed to like everyone. It
Yep.
wasn't just like one segment of the demo like really rushed out to see it. It was like a weird fucking anomaly where everyone was like into it.
A weird anomaly is a great way to put it. It was all in all, by all metrics, phenomenal.
Yeah, and like, and
And
again, we keep saying this, but like I think the nomination here for Best Picture is a win in itself. I mean, I think it kind of shows like how important that
exactly.
movie was to the industry. Um, and like, not to knock it, it got really great reviews. Like it wasn't like it was a slouch critically. I mean, a lot of people,
Not at all.
myself included, I think it's better than the original by far. The original is like a popcorn movie, and I know there are going to be some people that are like, no, don't fucking talk about Top Gun like that. But like, it's a popcorn entertainment movie. I like it. Like
I
but
love
like,
Top Gun, but you're right.
but
It's
Top Gun
80s
Maverick was
cheese to the
like,
max.
yeah, Top Gun Maverick had no business being as emotionally resonant as it was, and like,
It's not.
yeah, I just remember after that first screening I saw like a week or two before the movie came out, because you're not really allowed to talk about it. But the only thing I could
Right.
say was like, dude, the movie has no business being as good as it is. Like that's all I could
Exactly.
say. And like, but yeah, that nomination is its win, and we can all acknowledge how what it did for the industry. But like, yeah, that other little multiverse movie, man, I think it's gonna take it,
I think
and
that's it. I think that's
it'll
it.
be a nice thing to see, and we'll actually get to see if it sweeps these major categories. We'll be keeping track of that, and like I said, I think it'll be the first time if it does happen since like the Silence of the Lambs, and that was a long time ago. So yeah, And and like we are gonna pick winners in the other categories that we didn't mention, but we just didn't mention like some of the other ones just for the sake of the length of this video and this episode. So also keep your tallies up for like costume design, production design, best original song. Rihanna will be performing at the Oscars. She'll be performing "Lift Me Up" for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. So yeah, keep track of all those because we will also off the line keep track of those too to kind of see which ones we
Big
got
time.
right. But we just wanted to get the big ones out there. And yeah, before the Oscars, I'll throw it out. I'll do some of the major ones. We'll just throw it out on the socials and see like who you think is going to win Best Picture, Best Actor, and we'll read some of those on the episode after the Academy after the
see
after the Academy Awards, and we'll see how well we did with our choices. Hopefully,
we can't wait to be
well.
chatting this next week.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. So look out for that. And to wrap up this episode, we have to talk box office, and we have to talk box office predictions. I actually do have some of your box office predictions for Creed 3. I saw it. It's a really good movie.
I'll be seeing it shortly.
Yeah, if you will come out of that movie completely motivated to do anything.
That's what I'm hearing.
So we were both wrong, but you were smart going on the high end. So I predicted,
just not high enough.
I predicted 40 million opening weekend, which is where it was tracking. It was tracking like 38 to 40. You went above that,
okay,
like 44, something like that, 44 million.
That's right.
Which I was, and guys, it did even better than that. It made $58 million opening weekend. And of course, as we're recording this, it's just estimates. It might change a little when actuals come out, but like I'm pretty sure it's going to be close. It's going to be like 58. This is a franchise best opening. This includes the Rocky movies
by a wide margin.
By a wide margin. It's also the biggest opening for a sports film ever. So good job.
Oh my god.
And also a game changer because Amazon Studios bought MGM, right? So there was a big Deadline did an interesting article where they were talking about like they could have easily sent Creed 3 to just their streaming service because they've done that with some of the movies since they've acquired MGM. But they said that Creed 3 was always destined to be a theatrical release, and Deadline was saying that like Netflix, more so than any other streamers, but Netflix specifically, pay attention to what Amazon Studios did with Creed 3. See how well it opened up this weekend without you just putting it on your streaming service first. They had that like trial run with Glass Onion where they only had it out for a week in theaters, and like that made money. And I was like, that should show you that like there's an interest for some of these movies to go see them in theaters. So like I agree with Deadline where it's like they could have easily sent Creed 3 to streaming and they bet on it theatrically. And I think it's because they saw the returns they got from like the other two. I mean, the first one made $109 million domestic. Yeah, $109 million domestically for the first one. The second one made 115. So the trajectory was just going up. So they're probably like, like I think there was some hesitation from fans because like I will tell you this, they don't even mention Rocky in Creed 3. He doesn't even get he doesn't even get name dropped. So
that bothers me. I know that bothers me, but whatever.
I can see why it bothers you, but I also understood the need for it to step out of Rocky's shadow and like kind of stand on its own. But I guess from a narrative standpoint, it would have been interesting to be like, yo, where is he? Like some kind of like mention of it. But this is a big win for Amazon Studios, big win for MGM, big win for Michael B. Jordan. This is a directorial debut, and to come out of the gate with an opening of $58 million, that is a huge win for him and everyone involved with the movie. I'm going to pull up. Let me see if I can find some of you guys' predictions. All right, I pull it up right now. Sorry, I got to go into my Instagram and go to the archives. Were you surprised? I mean, like I know you went high, but I don't think even you saw like 58 million.
No, I was totally aware that I think 44 could have like knocked me out of place there. That it was like on a too high. And again, it was only 4 million higher than you would put there. And you would put what it was tracking at. So I did not expect to be 14 million off, even if I thought maybe it would go a little bit over 44, not nearly by that much. So I guess people were amped up to go see it, and positive word of mouth no doubt helped.
Yeah. So let me see. I'm trying to pull it up. Like I screenshot it, so I'm just going through it. Yeah, and
Right.
but it was cool. It was interesting reading like about it because it was like it was cool that it like broke all these other records too, like in the process. Like I
I
didn't even
know, eh?
think
Who would have saw that?
I didn't even think about it like being like the biggest opening for the franchise period, like including like the Rocky movies, and then even like
Right.
and then even as a sports film too, like it being having the highest opening for a sports movie, like that kind of threw me off as well.
I'm surprised that I would have thought like there'd be some sports movies that would have opened higher than that, but I mean, not that 58 is not great, but I was definitely surprised to hear that as well. But I just hadn't paid attention to those stats before.
Yeah. So my friend Steffa, she didn't even tried. She just said a lot of money.
Right.
A
Not
lot of money. A lot of people were in like Drew review. I think was 40 million. A lot of people were predicting 40 million. Merck had it between
okay.
like 30, 38, 40 million as well. Let's see. My buddy David, also in that range as well. So like I think everyone was kind of like assuming that's is where it was gonna like that is where it was gonna go, and I'm happy to be wrong on this one because like March. By the way,
Yeah.
March is a stacked month for movies, starting with Creed 3. So you have Creed opening that opened this weekend. You have Scream opening this coming weekend.
Got John
And
Wick
then
4 near
you
the end of
got
the
John Wick
month.
4 on the 24th. If you're interested in 65 and Adam Driver, that's also coming out the same weekend as Scream.
I'm gonna go see that actually. Original
And
premise, give it to me.
yeah, and then you also have, I mean, at the end of the month, I'm not sure how well it's going to do, but Dungeons and Dragons comes out at the end of the month, so it's like
Yeah.
a pretty stacked March. Um,
Yeah.
and we got it kicked off in a really good way with Creed 3, but we now have to move on to Scream. You want to call it Scream or Scream 6, whatever.
Screen.
It's the sixth.
Yeah.
It's the sixth one. um, I will give you a little leeway. I'll give you some stuff to kind of
Yes, please do. I'm gonna
see
need
how
some
you're gonna.
help.
So box office tracking, it initially came in at 27 to 30. After the Super Bowl, that went up to 30 to 35. After the spot dropped, and then
Holy.
in the last week, that has gone up to 38 to 44. If it does
Oh,
do that, if it goes above 33, it'll be a franchise best for Scream. If it goes above $33 million opening weekend. Um,
okay.
early reactions started coming out. I've been afraid to read some, but I actually read some that I trusted that was screenshot by another person on Instagram that I knew when like
Okay.
look up I knew when look up reactions that like would spoil the movie. Um,
That's nice of
early,
them.
early reactions for the movie so far after the first screening on Friday, mine's on Tuesday, um, are very positive. Like saying it's probably the best sequel since the second one, which is like a big deal because I love Scream
Okay.
2. Scream 2 is probably my favorite of the bunch. And they said it's very gory and that once it starts, it doesn't really stop. It's like relentlessly like bloody and gory. And
Okay.
and apparently this ghost face is not fucking around in this one. They also said that the core four, the newbies, Melissa Barrera, Jenna Ortega, Mason Gooding, Jasmine Savoy Brown, they make the movie their own. Even though the movie does honor the legacy of the franchise, they said that they fully feels like they take over in this one, which is
Okay.
rightfully so. I mean, like if anything, Scream. I know you had your feelings about it, but anything, the last one was like a passing of the torch, kind of to the newer
Right.
cast, and they said that they fully take over in this one. But to give you a little uh, idea of what the Scream films have done at the box office in the past. The original was an anomaly. So it opened to $6.3 million. It was considered to be dead on arrival after opening weekend, but then word of mouth like was so strong for the movie, it actually increased
Right.
in second and third week. I think the highest gross for the movie was at 10 million, but it kind of was just like it had very little drops, and it actually played in theaters from December well until May. They were actually shooting Scream 2 while Scream was still in theaters because it was still making a lot of money. Um, but opened to $6.3 million. $14 million budget, ended up making $103 million domestically and $173 million worldwide by the end of its run. Which is, we don't really get a lot of word of mouth like movies like that a
No,
lot anymore. So
not
that was
these
a big
days.
deal. Scream 2 comes out a little less than a year after the first movie. Like I said, they were shooting Scream 2 while Scream was still in theaters.
Right.
This movie had the advantage of like the first one being well received and like a lot of hype. And oddly enough, I found this out from watching a video actually on Friday. This guy was like covering all the Scream movies. Scream 2 hype was so big that James Cameron's Titanic was opening that same weekend, and they moved the release date by like a week to not compete with Scream 2. So that's how much fire Scream 2 had. Now, of course, Titanic became like for a long time the highest grossing movie of all time. But like that's how much like heat Scream 2 had when it came out. This one opened way higher than the first one at 32.9 million on a budget of just 24 million. It ended up grossing a little less than the first one, 101.3 million domestic and 172.3 million worldwide. By the way, these are fantastic grosses for horror movies. You don't really see that a lot. Scream 3 came out in 2000. It was supposed to be the concluding chapter of the trilogy. We weren't supposed to get any more after this. Scream 3 had the hype. Scream 3 had the hype of like being the end, the conclusion. So it opened to opened to 34.7 million. This is currently the franchise's highest opening to date. On a budget of $40 million. Scream 3 was not as well received by a lot of people. It ended up grossing 89.1 million domestic. Still made money, but that's a huge drop off from like the other ones. And then 161.8 million worldwide. Still pulled in some coin, but you can kind of see that like the reaction to it wasn't as strong as the other two. Scream 4, we thought we really wanted it because like a lot of fans begged for it. We begged so hard that you thought it would have opened a lot better than it did. But it came out in 2011, only opened to $18.6 million on a $40 million budget, made 38.1 million domestic and 97.2 million worldwide. The worldwide gross actually helped it still turn a profit.
Yeah.
But like that's a huge drop off from the previous movies. And I don't know. I think Scream 4 has aged pretty well. I mean, I felt differently about it when I first saw it, but I think it's kind of aged the best of the. It's better than Scream 3 to me for sure. And then we got our legacy sequel in 2022, Scream 5. I remember getting emails from Paramount whenever they would read something on Joe Blow, like, "Oh, we're not calling it Scream 5. Can you take the 5 out of all of your coverage?" Like, okay. Guess we're trying to fool people into thinking that it's not the 5th one. But this one was like bolstered by really good reviews and good positive word of mouth. Opened to $30 million January of last year. Made $81.6 million domestic and $137.7 million worldwide. And this is the reason why we got Scream 6 like so quickly.
Yeah, that's like it.
Yeah. So you have all that knowledge. From the previous movies, the box office tracking, the early good word of mouth for Scream 6. Where do you got it this opening weekend?
I think I'm going lower end, but higher. So if it opens at 34, grossing opening for that season. So I have it going higher than, and I think a lot of that has to do with the hype around Jenna Ortega right now because when Scream 5 came out last year in March, I think was it March or January?
January last year, yeah.
January.
Yeah.
So she had that, which definitely put her on the map a little bit. She was coming off the success of her side role in You, and then I think what really launched her into stardom is Wednesday, which no doubt will bring a lot of fans that liked her performance there to Scream 6. And for that reason, I have it opening at 41 million. My prediction.
Wow, you're like one higher than me. That's funny.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yes. Okay, a little bit on board.
I'm going 40. I am predicting 40 million. I think with both of our predictions, we both think it'll be a franchise best opening for the movie.
We can agree on that for sure.
They've been promoting the hell out of it. I mean, like I was talking to a friend that I've seen so many TV spots for this and none for Shazam, which is like a bigger movie, arguably. and
I
TV
think,
spots
yeah.
TV spots for Scream 6 have been everywhere, and I mentioned it on Twitter. What I've loved, there have been 2 official trailers and a ton of TV spots, but the marketing has done a brilliant job of showing us a lot without telling us a lot. They haven't really given away anything. They haven't spoiled anything.
Right.
Like, I mean, for those few people that suck that you got the killer reveal leaked on Twitter by a bunch of assholes, I thought it was funny to leak the ending. But I
Boo.
mean, like the hype for this, and I think it's just because I mean, Scream fans are very devoted, and horror movie fans are very devoted. I think
That's
that
right.
like, I think the Nev Campbell thing, I think people have gotten over it. I mean, I think they want her there, of course, but I think they've kind of been like, all right,
Yeah.
let's see what these guys do without her. I was also told to stay until the credits, so after the credits. So I was just like,
Oh,
is there a surprise in
okay.
there or something? Because there's like a still
Something they want to see.
a little hope in me that's like, yo, they like side talk to Nev Campbell and like will set her up to be in like because they've talked about how they want this to be a trilogy, like this like set of movies, and it'd be cool to bring her back and like
Right.
what would be the last one? I mean, what the last one? Um, if they do that. Um, but yeah, I'm going 40. I think. I mean, the
Okay.
hype, so the hype around it, and like just to talk about the power of Jenna Ortega, when Deadline covered the box office tracking, she was mentioned on her own as being a draw for people going to see it.
I,
They didn't mention anyone else from the
that's
cast,
exactly what I'm thinking.
and that's not to take away anything from
Wow.
like returning favorites like Courtney Cox or Hayden Panettiere. Melissa Barrera is the star, but like
Yeah.
Jenna Ortega took off. I didn't know who she was when I saw Scream
Yes,
last
she.
year. I had no idea who she was.
Wow.
I had no idea who she was. And then all of a sudden she's
Now
in
there's no
Scream,
escaping her.
and then she's an X, and I forgot she was in you. You mentioned you. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, I forgot about
And
X. Yeah.
and then Wednesday, of course, like put her over the map. And um I mentioned this before, man. If you're writing Scream 6 and you're just watching this girl, like are you rewriting it? Like, yo,
Yeah.
we gotta put her
Give
in
her a
this
bigger
thing
role.
more.
Yeah, absolutely. Need some more Jenna screen time.
But yeah, I'm going. It's gonna be exciting. I am seeing it Tuesday at a press screening, but me and my brother want to see it again
Nice.
the weekend, like with a real audience, because like press screenings are kind of stuffy sometimes. And it'll be cool. Like I said, I saw the last one at a press screening, and then I saw it again with like an actual audience, and the reactions
Right.
were like, everyone at the press screening liked it, but it's just different when you see it with regular people who are like wholly into it. I am gonna rewatch.
Exactly.
I'm gonna rewatch it again probably tomorrow, and I know I said that when we talked about how you felt about it, like I wanted to be removed from
Mhm.
like the hype of seeing it, but now I'm like all in the hype for Scream 6. So I might be like,
And
yo,
that's great. I love that. I'm gonna probably try and watch 4 if I have the time because I won't get back till Thursday.
yeah,
And there was something else I said I had to watch other than Scream. What else were we talking about? Anyway, I'll have to see Scream on the weekend so we can chat that hopefully.
yeah,
Um, maybe in another video, but I feel like my time might be limited, but I'm gonna try and get that in on the weekend. So while it's still fresh, we can chat about that. And I'd like to be able to see it so we can just have that conversation. But I'm gonna try and get 4 in because I haven't seen that since it came out. So,
yeah.
but I saw 5
Uh,
so recently. I don't feel like I need to see it again.
yeah. And then what we're gonna do too, like by the time we will both be able to have seen it, we'll talk the franchise as a whole, and then also kind of talk about the movie and like the new one. Like if there's anything that surprised us, I'm sure there will be some stuff that
Right.
surprises us.
Mm,
And since we will both have seen it, I think we're gonna try to get a couple people to join us for that who have seen the movie too. That will be a very
right.
spoiler heavy discussion, guys. Fair warning. So if you hadn't seen Scream,
Gonna have to
this
be.
if you haven't seen Scream 6 by the time we record that, um, beware because when we covered the last one,
Mhm.
we went into detail about everything and like and I felt so bad. Like
Yeah.
Owen didn't see it, but he still wanted to be on the episode. And so when we got to the point of talking about who the killers were, this other guy Donnie, who's like guested on the show like a few times, he was like, "All right, well, let's talk about who the killers were." And Donnie was like, "I feel bad, Owen. Are you sure you don't want to like turn off your thing for a second while we talk about it?" He's like, "No." He's like, "No, it's fine, but I'm going to assume that one of them is Jack Quaid, just because Jack Quaid, and he got one right." So like,
Right.
yeah. So like, yeah. So for those that want to be on it and listen to it, it will be very spoiler heavy discussion. And then I also
Mhm.
got some of your the Stephen King responses as well. And since that will be like a horror themed episode, we'll reveal some
We
of
could,
the what your
yeah.
favorite and least favorite Stephen King adaptations were. I will say this: a lot of you felt bad for picking some of your favorites. Like, oh, I feel so boring by picking this one particular movie, but it's a great movie, so you shouldn't feel bad
Yeah,
picking it. And then
nothing to feel bad about.
a lot of your worst, a lot of them lined up. A lot of you guys picked a lot of the same worst Stephen King adaptations. So I thought that was really interesting to read. So we'll share that on the episode after this one. But yeah,
Looking forward to it.
all right,
Alrighty.
that's it, man. We gotta get. I know you gotta get going. You got a big trip planned, but thank you for
hitting the road here shortly. Yeah,
getting these
we'll be in the
predictions
same
in.
country.
Yeah,
Just opposite coasts.
Still far away. Still far away.
That's right. That's right. Well, but next time we're meeting, we will have the about see how accurately predicted.
Yeah.
And again, guys, stay tuned to the socials because no doubt we'll be putting up, giving you guys an opportunity to let us know what you think is going to win in certain categories. We love the engagement. Really excited to see how the Oscars go. It's, again, one of my favorite times of the year. So very much looking forward to week and seeing how we go and seeing how we do with our predictions and just really looking at the ceremony itself. So guys, in between now and then, let your friends know that like this kind of content, where you can find us. You can find us wherever you guys get your podcasts. Again, we really appreciate you guys tuning in. It's always a blast, Gaius, chatting movies with you, my friend. And I'm looking forward to next week.
Yep, me too. Oh, and also, I just want to say this too. We had a really good week on Good Pods as of this recording.
Oh, nice.
We started the week at number 9, so I don't mind being like. There's a ton of shows on Good Pods, and Good Pods, like what they kind of specialize in is like really like showcasing like independent podcasts that don't have like a ton of backing behind them to kind of like boost like their listening ship and stuff. It's all kind of it's all kind of based on like basically what we have to do, which is like self promote.
Right.
We were at number 9 on the film review chart at the beginning of the week, and then I checked it like midweek. We were up to number 4 on the film review chart. So thank you guys for listening on that. We had the benefit of having 2 episodes drop during that week. We had we had our deep dive with Tucker and Dale versus Evil with Owen, and then we had our normal show that week. So it was like a good. I mean, it was just.
It was nice to see you.
It was a lot. It was a lot of content. So like, yeah, I'm glad you guys all took all that in, and like, we really appreciate it. And
thanks for showing us the love, guys.
Yeah, really do appreciate it. And yeah, it's a good chat, good talk, and
as always,
I hope I playfully beat you in the Oscar predictions.
It'll be fun to keep score. I can't wait to compare.
Yeah, for sure. But until next time, guys. Peace.
Thanks as always.